Hey, champs! I am thrilled to highlight one of our sponsors this month, the Sales Arms. Chris has been on our podcast a few times with my good friend and fellow consultant, Stephanie Bradley, and the Sales Arms are truly a game changer when it comes to handling sales outreach and retention for yoga studios and fitness studios. You may have heard our episode with Martine, owner of the home studio, on the show. She credits the Sales Arms for doing all the client outreach and monitoring every step of her customer journey. Listen to her in her own words.
What is so great with working with them is that they basically are in contact with everybody that comes into my studio and that's new, and they'll send them a text message and they'll get them engaged until they get people to come back in. That was the part where I was looking for help, and I was like, I need to upload something, and it's just a lot of time and effort that goes into this, and they are personal, so it's an actual person behind a text message, and it's not something that is automated. And that was important to me. What percentage of new person comes back in 30 days? And so mine was 15 and 20% prior to doing this, and now it's been up to 35 to 40%.
With Chris and the Sales Arms team in Martine's corner, she was able to focus on what she does best, and that's running her studio. So if you're looking to boost your studio membership without getting bogged down in sales calls and follow-ups, which I call with my clients daily detective work, and you have somebody else do the heavy lifting for you, go to yogabizchamp.link/TSA. So with our Yoga Biz Champ exclusive link, you get a direct booking with Chris, the owner, to have a chat. So again, that link is yogabizchamp.link/TSA. Happy 2025, Yoga Biz Champs. Welcome to Season 5 of this podcast. I am so excited. I got some explaining to do. You might have noticed there's been inconsistency with this podcast. Let me tell you, I'm feeling it. Last year, I had probably almost a year of construction, sewer works, apartment buildings, road works all around me. It just made it near impossible. And because my main focus is my coaching business with my starter studio and grower studio packages, I couldn't let the podcast be a distraction. And to be honest, the podcast has been a passion project. I didn't put myself on a time schedule. I didn't want to give myself that stress, but it's something I love doing. And last year was tough, and then I was all geared up to go boom for January, and then a whole bunch of stuff happened. Number one, I had a cold that turned into a respiratory thing, and let's just say doing a podcast at that time was out of the question. And number two, my partner's family lost their home in the Altadena fires in California, and there was a lot of live on the scenes with that, and my nervous system was just shot through that. And anyway, that's an explanation as to why there has been no episodes. But moving forward, there's so many great things coming on, and if you're still sticking with me here, I'm really excited about season 5. Behind the scenes, a whole bunch of stuff has been going on up until now. One of the things is I hired Shannon Crow from the Connected Yoga Teachers. She was on one of my podcasts, and she has coached me on putting some systems in place. And like I hope when my clients come to me when they're hiring me, the only reason to hire a coach is to fast track getting you there and getting you there smarter. And so I had Shannon, and we put all these systems in place, application forms with automations and all sorts of fabulous geeky stuff going on in the background. But on top of that, I've also, and she's helped me formulate this, but I've also secured 3 amazing sponsors for the podcast. Now, when you're running a yoga studio, you're doing all the roles. You're the marketing person, you're the salesperson, you're the team lead, you're everything. You're absolutely everything. And you can't do it all if you want to grow. So I have to delegate some of those things. So what securing these three amazing sponsors has allowed me now to have the funds to hire a video editor and then also a writer. And I'm really excited to bring them on board as part of my team. They're absolutely perfect fits. And the next episode will be the first episode that I have not touched other than doing recording. And it's one of those lessons, same as yoga studios, just because you can do the roles, should you be doing all the roles? So now that frees me up to make more content, which is what I love to do. I'm passionate about it. I can do all the video editing. I can do the audio editing. I can do the repurposing and the social media clips and the blog post, all of that stuff. But again, just because I can, should I? Or should I dial up my superpowers? And that's what I hope for my clients to do also, and for you. And I just want to touch on my sponsors. I am really excited about them. They are three businesses that I really admire. I sent three emails out to people. I just had this gut instinct of the right fits. Luckily, and I sent three emails out and I got three responses saying, yes, we're in. We're going to test the waters out with you here, and which I'm very grateful for. And the first one is Offering Tree. They're just an amazing booking platform that I also do group coaching for twice a month. And so, really excited that they just put their trust in me and the Yoga Biz Champ brand. And then the other is Boutique Fitness Brokers, Mitch McGinley, who has been on this podcast multiple times talking about buying and selling studios. And then there is also the Sales Arms. You've heard Stephanie and you've also heard Chris a couple of times on the podcast. And again, they just jumped in saying, we're in, it's a fit. And so I'm very grateful. So, with that's going to allow us to just step this podcast up a little bit more, give more consistency. And I'm going to bring in some more geeky tech stuff and more things to really help you either launch a studio or help you grow your studio. So, with all this delayed, I have a recording way back from 2024 in December. Stephanie and I got together to talk about looking forward to 2025. I've just given you all of this update. Very shortly, there will be another podcast fresh coming out. It is one of my clients, an amazing studio owner, Samantha from Yoga Strong. But in the meantime, here is Stephanie and myself chewing the shit in this fitness business world. Enjoy.
Are we talking? Are you going to give me a heads up about the subject, or is this all just live right now?
We're just live. We're just talking. It's just you and me in dead space.
Okay.
I thought it's end of year, probably the last episode of the year. And I haven't seen you or talked to you about industry for months. It feels like I haven't seen you since the last podcast. I'm looking at all these things that people are putting out right now, 2025 predictions, looking at what they predicted for 2024, and just what are you seeing right now? I'm industry wise talking to studio owners and feeling like they used to be able to predict a cycle, and I feel like they're not feeling that right now. And so you and I are talking to a lot of studio owners. What are you seeing right now?
I'm seeing a lot of really cool thoughts and ideas that people are starting to marinate on, and I'll elaborate that a little bit. I think that obviously we keep talking about COVID and how it exposed a lot of consumers to everything that is out there. And I think now with the resurgence of health and wellness, you have a lot of studio owners who want to tap into it, but need to tap into it in a mindful way. You can't just throw in a cold plunge if it doesn't make sense how it aligns with everything else that's going on.
And I've seen that for
Because it's
sure.
going to feel that way, right? It's going to feel that way for the consumer. Interestingly enough, I had a discovery call with someone this week who is thinking outside the box. And I quite honestly think that's where the industry is going. And that's what's cool about it. To your point about predictability, they can't be a predictability when you're thinking outside the box. And I think a lot of attention is being paid to anything that is data driven anything that has some sort of mechanics that can let, even in a deeper level than we're used to, what the right exercise is for your body type or your goals or that sort of thing.
So more customizable, individualized paths.
Yes, machine driven. And so as
So
intriguing as it was about the
AI driven
AI driven.
or exercise driven? Like exercise machine are you talking about? Or
Yes and no. An AI driven, here's what you need to do, cold plunge for X amount of money. This is the digital print of what your meal plan should be using, that sort of thing.
Right.
And where I feel there is a demographic that would be amazing for, I also wonder how you also bring in the human element to it, right? Having a conversation with someone about all of the other things that come that aren't like black and white, right? Anxiety levels, mindfulness, connecting with the facility, the modality, the instructor that you're dealing with. How does that look? So I think it's a very interesting time of all of this exposure to things. But I will tell you, and I'm quite interested on your opinion on this, if things are technologically driven, and we all know, as the audience knows, I'm not your technological person, it changes so quickly. And when you're dealing with a brick and mortar business, you know that it could take anywhere from 6 months to 18 months to get it up and running. What does that look like in the investment of technology when it could be changing so rapidly by the time you actually open up your doors?
I guess it depends what industry you're in, because yoga can be, my industry, it can be as simple as just a room and a yoga mat.
Correct.
And
But when you're expanding these thoughts,
but then there's all these other things that are happening where there's the ultimate experience where you've got $300,000 worth of air exchange and heat systems and mega investments going into these businesses, right? And I see the gamut along there. I see it can be as simple, and you can have a very profitable business with a very simple structure. But then I see there's a lot of franchise like studios opening. But I do with the tools. I think with marketing, I'm all about the marketing, and I love that a solo studio now has franchise level tools to be able to tap into.
And as exciting as the technology is, I don't think it can ever replace
Humanness.
what you're talking about, at least for me. I think now with anything, as all of these exciting ideas, you have to come from the standpoint, like you said, to really know who your avatar client is, because it's not going to be for everyone.
Yeah,
So
that Lagree, you hit 50 milestone, and it's very different than somebody walking into a yoga studio going for a little bit of Zen.
I need some Zen in my life.
You need some Zen? What kind of yoga do you need? You need some yoga.
I
You
don't
need a
know
sound
enough
bath.
to know what I don't know.
You need to go to a sound bath.
Yeah.
I want a video of Stephanie. Stephanie goes to some. Stephanie goes
My
to a sound
youngest
bath.
son actually told me when I was starting to train to teach, he said, "You're not teaching yoga." And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "You're not calm enough to teach yoga." And I'm like, "Appreciate the honest, direct feedback. Guess I know who you got it from." Okay. Okay. But you tapped on something that I think is quintessential, as everything is like moving and shaking and changing, is the experience. I know with my clients that I'm working with now, as a studio owner, you get so involved in the operation and the procedures and the processes and everything that you need to do on the back end so that it is seamless for the customer, which is amazing. But at the end of the day, they're coming not for all the frills. They're coming for the product and the experience and how they feel when they leave. And so that needs to be doubled down on, because I feel like people will pay for an experience, but having been exposed to so many things, you need to show up for that experience. And fortunately or unfortunately, you can't show up just on Mondays and Tuesdays. You gotta show up.
So I talk about that a lot, and I feel like the yoga studio owner, that's all they have control over.
But
single thing that you have control over is the client experience, and that you can't take your finger off of that pulse. And if you're not on it, you need to get on it. And and that starts from the website. It's the visuals that you put out there, it's the journey through the website to the way you come in, they come through the door. So I'm doing something, we've talked a little bit about this, but I've been on ClassPass. Second month on ClassPass. Don't tell
I was
anybody.
about to bring that up 5 minutes ago, and
Don't tell any. Here's what it's been great for me. So I've been trying to find. You called this. My partner was doing this before when you called it dating, and so I've been dating, trying to find gym, yoga studios in my area. So it's been really good for me to try the different client experiences. And I went into one small little gym over the bridge from me, very personable, introduced. Everything was a really nice experience. At the end of it, it was just a not a yoga instructor, it was just an instructor. There's nobody running the desk. I asked about memberships at the end of the class, and they're like, oh, I'm not sure. And so starts fumbling through things and then pulls out a piece of paper. It was in another language. So I left not knowing anything about that business and how to carry on with it from my first experience. Went onto the website, couldn't find the pricing anywhere. You lost me.
And as a studio owner, that's what you want, is clients that immediately walk out of class and go, okay, my God, where can I sit?
Second, I went to a spin class and walked in, was greeted by name, was shown where the lockers were, was told what to expect, went into the space. Somebody came over, fitted me to the bike, adjusted my feet, clamped my feet in. Then the instructor came over and said, hey, is this your first time here? Hey, these are the two things you need to keep an eye on. Just keep an eye on the beat, keep your hips back, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, like literally, I have been taken care of. This is an amazing client experience. But that should be every studio, everywhere you go, whether it's a front desk person, whether it's a teacher, everybody needs to know how to sell something. Hey champs, let's talk about behind the scenes hustle of running your yoga business. If managing your studio feels like a balancing act, it's time to check out our sponsor, Offering Tree. This all-in-one business platform handles website building, bookings, client management, and marketing workflows to help and add and retain more clients to your studio. Yoga Biz Champ listeners get 50% off the first 3 months or 15% off annual plans via the link in the show notes or by going to offeringtree.com/Yoga Biz Champ podcast. Studio plans start at just $100 a month and include a supportive community plus bi-monthly coaching calls with myself. Offering Tree isn't just a software, they are your studio business partner.
I think for 2025, I'm not going to use the word sales anymore. I think you're just giving information or asking for information.
Educating.
Type of thing. Yeah. And I think that there's a lot of educating that needs to do. And interestingly enough, my conversation with my clients last week, because of course we all know it's December. Nobody's really paying attention to anything. Everybody's in holiday mode. There's not a lot going on. So it's a great time for self-reflection or looking at your numbers, thinking about your goals, and obviously taking some time for yourself as well. And I feel like, having been a studio owner myself, if I was given the instruction of, I don't want you to do anything, but make sure every time that you are in your space, the best time ever.
Yeah.
What would that feel like?
Yeah.
Go back to the root of why you got inspired, what prompted you to want to take the next step, to have an impact. Take a deep breath and see what sitting in that energy of space feels like.
Yeah, and try not to sit in the space of overwhelm, which I am seeing a lot of. Every day I'm seeing a lot of studios feeling overwhelmed. It's like a lot of big pieces moving.
And this is amped this time of year.
Yeah.
Notice it. What do I always say? Take a beat. I myself am in that overwhelmed time. Like you're trying to be productive at work. I have college age kids. I want to spend time with them because they're now home. I'm laughing because I walked around the house and I'm like, this look feels really lived in because there's stuff everywhere now, but I love
Mm.
it kind of thing. And no, that's where your clients are too.
Yeah. I feel like this week, in the last 2 weeks, I've been meeting them where they're at when I see them, and I feel like
Therapy session.
my job is to just make sure that they feel not overwhelmed by the end of the session, and everything's prioritized, because sometimes we have these big projects and they just sit there over our head. And sometimes if we just break them down into simple tasks, we actually use a project board to move the tasks forward. But yeah, getting them out of your head somewhere, I think, is a big thing. Putting it
We're
down.
talking about take some time for you. Can we talk about some thoughts for the first quarter of 2025?
Yeah, please.
I was looking at it for the marketing events calendar. It's a great time to set it up so that you feel prepared, whether you tackle on the whole year or you just do the first quarter.
Yeah.
And something that I was looking at when I was working with my clients on is that there's nothing major going on the first 3 months as far as like national holidays.
Yeah, and spring break, you got a window before spring break.
Mardi Gras is even late this year. Which, if you're anywhere in Louisiana, it sounds funny, but your New Year's depends on when Mardi Gras is. Because if Mardi Gras is like February 1st, nobody's doing New Year's resolution because Mardi Gras starts like 6 weeks before. They've still got shit to do. They do it after, but there's no real holiday in the first quarter. And so I say that to say, as people are thinking about what to do in their spaces for the new year, maybe you just focus on the amazing experience for January, or at least the first 3 weeks, because we all know studies say people do a New Year's resolution and by the third week of January, they're falling off. Can you strategically plan something then? Maybe the third week of January, you've used the first 3 weeks for everybody to get re-excited, reinvigorated, bringing in their friends, creating that nice energy. Just sit with the energy and the experience there, and then plan something towards the ends of January or February where now they're excited. Maybe they're starting to fall off a little bit, but now there's a challenge of some sort to take them through February.
Yeah.
And if you plan your new client offers accordingly, so they would have to purchase something else in order to continue type of thing. Because I feel like we as studio owners need to do a better job of leading them through after they start and just supporting them.
Yeah.
Because starting a new process, especially in the new year, you don't know who else is supporting that person on a personal level.
Yeah.
You could be the only cheerleader in that life, in that person's life. So what does bringing them along the journey look like for you?
Yeah. And I think along the journey, I think it's important to paint, especially newcomers, to paint a picture of what it looks like to have that in your life on a regular basis in the future. Like to help them visualize. I do that I have my clients in my studios do a beginner 101 course, 8 week. But within that so January obviously is a great time for a beginner 8 week series. But within that series, to make sure that you're painting the picture of how it looks after this course. Because a lot of people take a course and think, checked, done, onto knitting now. Right. But within that journey, if you can paint a picture of what your life looks like continuing on with yoga during that intro period, it's like what most people do is carry on and choose this path and have more freedom in their bodies, when they feel better in their body. But painting that picture along the way, I think that really helps.
Yes. Yes. Especially if there is any kind of intimidation, not sure what I'm getting into, not knowing what to expect. And I think specifically with yoga or so I've been told, because my practice isn't as regular as it needs to be, otherwise I would be calmer, that there are shifts that happen in your body physically, and there are shifts that happen in your body maybe mentally that staying on the journey helps with.
Yeah.
And I also feel, I was actually having this conversation at a soccer game earlier, that speaking to someone who had done a lot of modalities, and said that she so enjoys yoga because she doesn't feel judged. She's, if you're in a space where you need to be in Savasana for a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
20 minutes because of
yeah.
whatever's going on in your life, it's
You
not
can.
like the instructor is calling you out or asking you if you're okay, or if other members in the class are judging you, because it's just an accepted form of what you need
That's
at that
interesting
time.
because it is. I feel like that's a very interesting thing to say because it is. I think we put that out there intentionally in the class. If you need to take child's pose, take child's pose. You need to take a break. You need
But a
to lay
lot
on
of
your back.
times you hear it,
Yeah,
but you don't feel it.
yeah,
So to talk to somebody who felt it, she was just like, nobody cares. Now,
yeah,
I'm sure nobody walked up to her and say, hey, girl, I don't care if you get in Shavasana. She just felt that. And I think that's a very unique and cool experience to give someone. Like,
yeah,
I am accepted to be in whatever stage of my life, my day, my world right now. And this is what I need. And the people around me here are not judging, and they're just here to support me, kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Now, there are probably different days where you're like, listen, I need somebody to hold me accountable and to kick my ass, because I'm not going to do this for 5 minutes. I'm going to cheat and do it for 2 minutes. There are days that you need that.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
especially now.
I've learned I need that group. I've learned to love group fitness classes.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
learned that it's a lot easier having somebody else tell me what to do.
I don't want to think. I don't want to. Yeah.
I just want to
Mhm.
show up. Yeah. Tell
Yep.
me what to do.
But to give yourself that grace to follow where that is on different
Yeah.
days is
Yeah. I
a
love
nice
that.
gift to give yourself.
I went on the Waller webinar yesterday and they were talking about 2025 playbook. One of the interesting conversations that came out of that is that we can't really ignore all of these drugs that are out now, these drugs that are helping people lose weight, Ozempic and things like that. And there's going to be a whole kind of new bunch of people that are feeling good in their bodies again and coming with new bodies. And so that too, it was just interesting. She was bringing that to this saying this, she's seeing conversations around that in the studios, people saying, hey, you look good. And people saying, oh, I did this. And that just, there's a whole kind of new world happening with around this.
Yep. And I think it's interesting because I remember thinking this myself as a younger person, where you felt as a woman you needed to look a certain way to be able to fit in a certain athleisure outfit before even stepping into an exercise facility,
Yeah. Yeah.
which sounds counterintuitive.
Yeah.
So my hope is that anyone who's now feeling better about themselves will either continue or start their movement journey so that you can carry it on. I'm stopping short because I'm a little nervous about the effects of any kind of drug from my own health scare and what it looks like.
Yeah. No, I'm not
But
just
if it can
talking
get you in a hotel, if it can get you in a healthy routine to combat whatever could happen, the drug might not be available anymore. You might get off of it, whatever that looks like. But to be there to support you in your health journey where movement is concerned.
Yeah. Back to you were talking about the AI and the kind of prescriptive approach with that, the individualized approach. But I think that can be done without AI too, though, right? So you're talking about the community. It's about having conversations. What are your goals? When are you available? What do you hope to get out of this? I think that is just as powerful as like an AI or more.
I agree. I think the overall theme is that the industry itself is becoming more sophisticated.
Yeah.
When it comes to data generation and how to get it and what to do with it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I think it is all so incredibly cool, because if it leads us to be a society that is more preventative in general of getting ahead of things, then it's better for everybody. What are you doing for the holidays?
I am in LA right now, and I'm heading back to Vancouver on Sunday. And then Sam's coming up to Vancouver, and then we're having Christmas in Vancouver with friends. And yeah.
Now that you're a year older, does everybody know you just celebrated a birthday? The man's 39, people.
Yeah,
The man is 39.
58. It's a weird one. It's like that 60 number is now creeping way. I'm now looking at the lines on my forehead.
See, but you should be a walking billboard. Look how good you can look for 58. He's yoga.
Yeah, thank you. I had a nice birthday weekend. Yeah, it was good. In LA, lots of friends, and yeah, but the way I counter that AI thing for that personalized thing, and this is just a freebie, and it's a very easy one to do. But there's a couple of things. I think all of the embedded schedules on the websites, they're always linear. They go top to bottom. People don't think that way in their life. So make it damn easy for them and put a visual Monday through Sunday schedule. Above that, I actually have a Canva template on my website, yogabizchamp.com, under resources.
I'm going to need that. Because as you say that, a little card, like I wanted a card, like you said, this way, and I would keep it in my...
When people are thinking about their memberships, I say this all the time, and I don't think the software companies have caught up with me yet.
You heard it here first. People.
Yes, listen, all of you software companies, but people don't look at their lives downwards. So if you're thinking about a membership, I want to be able to look at a visual and go, I can get in Monday morning after I've dropped the kids off. I can get in Wednesday at 6 while they're in hockey, and I can come in when I'm free on Saturday. Boom, 3 times a week. That's value to me. It's made it easy to make a decision, right? To try your intro off. And then the other thing is on the front desk, that same calendar, if it was black and white, printed on a laser printer, and you had a highlighter there, you asked them 2 questions. What's your goals? When are you available? And then you VIP highlight. This is your prescription to feeling better in these 2 weeks. Kind of get you booked into them.
If you had it on a prescription pad, it would be even better.
Would. Totally.
A branded prescription
pad. Yeah.
Because when you get a prescription from the doctor, the first thing you do is go to the pharmacy.
We're going to put it into buckets of where they're coming, right? Stress, flexibility. We can put them into 3 or 4 buckets of why they're coming. And if you can figure out if they're coming for stress, then you tell them, and they're only available evenings and weekends. You show them Veronica's stress release on Wednesday night and the sound bath on Friday night, and you put the things that are going to help them feel better for their goals.
That could be a good marketing email too, to put a copy of the schedule and say, we know that you want to come take a look at this, and exactly what you said. Yeah.
But I want to tell you a little bit about the future of the podcast moving into 2025. So things are changing. So it has been a regular, to say the least. You've been part of this, but it's definitely been a passion project. And we're getting a little bit more serious next year. And so we're going to be consistently putting more episodes out. So folks, it's going to have a lot more content coming this year and a lot more consistency. So anybody that's been listening so far, I appreciate you sticking with my randomness, but looking forward to next year. And Stephanie coming along for the journey.
I'll be here.
Yeah.
Be here. Very proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yoga Biz Champ carries on.
All right, all you listeners out there, I want you to go fix yourself whatever kind of beverage calms you down. Put your feet up. Celebrate your successes of 2024. Take a deep breath and know that there's support for you. There's people to listen to you in this industry as you start off 2025.
Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
I always appreciate you. And have a great Christmas and amazing time with your family. And what do you do for Christmas?
My dad's birthday is Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, it is a Cajun tradition. We all have my granny's recipe gumbo because nobody made it the same. And we usually go to Mass because it's my mother's thing. So we go and support her. And then Christmas Day is just a day of eating, taking naps, watching football, and eating some more. Very relaxed. We're not a scheduled people. There's not a time to all sit down. We just,
What's 2000? What's 2025 look like for you?
I have been in an amazing space of self-awareness, and I'm ready to get out of it. But 2025, I want to trust myself more.
Ah,
I want to trust myself more.
yeah, that's a good one.
And I want to practice what I preach. I want to get in a regular movement, sound bath, yoga
Something.
routine, because I find myself you get involved in a project, you get going with something, then all of a sudden you turn around and the day is gone, speaking to the choir with everybody listening in this entrepreneurial journey.
It's been this discussion with my studio owners this week. It is.
And I found myself just very easily irritable lately, stress levels high, and when stop thinking, okay, Stephanie, when's the last time you've gone to exercise? And oh yeah.
And it's so funny how we can put ourselves to the bottom of the list, and the day goes by with good intentions, right? The day goes by, and then you're too tired at the end of the day. And I'm hearing that from my studio owners too, like that exhaustion.
Absolutely.
So I think it's time to bump ourselves up.
Be selfish.
To the top, yeah. All right. Appreciate you.
Bye, love.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, champs. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It really helps me out a lot. And if you're ready to open your own studio or grow your current one, visit yogabizchamp.link/podlink. Again, that's yogabizchamp.link/podlink to book your free strategy call with me and explore my Starter Studio and Grow a Studio packages. And you'll also get access to all of my free Yoga Biz Champ resources there. And you can also check out the video content on YouTube for more insights, and follow me on all social media platforms at Yoga Biz Champ. See you next time.